Welcome to Biblical Preaching. I'd like to bring a book to your attention. Might be useful for you. It's called Mastering Diabetes, the Revolutionary Method to Reverse Insulin Resistance Permanently in Type 1, Type 1.5, Type 2, Prediabetes, and Gestational Diabetes. So, talk about that for just a moment. I have metabolic syndrome. To have metabolic syndrome, you must have at least three of the following: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugar, and excess body fat around the waist. It's kind of a pre-diabetes, so it's something I don't want and would like to avoid. So I picked up this book by Cyrus Kambata and Robbie Barbaro, both of whom have diabetes and are getting off their medication as they work on this program of theirs. The foreword to the book is written by Dr. Neil Barnard, who has written his own book on reversing diabetes, which I actually showed to my endocrinologist, and he said it's a perfect plan. It would absolutely work, but no one would ever follow it. Well, I don't know about that. The first 5 chapters introduce the authors. They explain what insulin resistance is and how it's related to all of these intertwined diseases. And they conclude that a major detrimental health factor in insulin resistance is the eating of animal products. So they continue from there, and each of the chapters has not only the explanation, but additional shaded boxes with further explanations, charts and diagrams, and anecdotal stories. And at the end of each chapter, a take-home message, a bullet point list, and also a link to what amounts to thousands of scientific papers referencing and backing up their argument. In chapter 8, they begin what they call the Mastering Diabetes method, and they introduce the concepts of green, yellow, and red foods, meaning which you should eat frequently, occasionally, and try to avoid. And they encourage you to write down what your specific goals are, maybe post them around the house, and then also to work on weekly menus. In the 9th chapter, they tell you to make sure you're working with a doctor when you're making changes like this to your life. And also, they recommend tests that should show how you are improving through your blood work and other tests. And they explain how to use a decision tree to make decisions toward becoming more healthful. Chapter 10 begins with a questionnaire about your weight and eating habits. And based on how you score, they tell you one of 2 breakfast types that you should begin with. If you're on the low score, you start with fruit bowl. If you're in the upper 75% of the score, then you start with a high fiber breakfast with 2 to 4 weeks, and then switch to the fruit bowl. Lunches are vegetables, grains, and beans. They discuss calorie density and how that works, illustrating several different foods. So an apple has this calorie density versus a piece of cake has this calorie density, and you can help become aware of what foods are better for you and your body. Dinners are salads with vegetables. Chapter 13 looks at the concept of intermittent fasting and offers several different patterns, including 16-8 being the most common, fasting for 16 hours, eating in an 8-hour window each day. 14 looks at the benefits of exercising. 15 has sample meal plans and sample recipes. And then It ends with 3 appendices, one on C-peptide testing, one lengthy lists of red, yellow, and green foods, and C, more explanation of how to use decision trees. The book ends with a lengthy index. I think this is an excellent book for anyone who's looking to reduce insulin dependence or reverse any of these diseases. It's science-based with thousands of scientific papers referenced. It's clear with explanations, charts, illustrations, summaries, anecdotes. It's an extensive, useful, helpful guide. Their plan reminds me of the first book I ever read on what's now called the whole food plant-based diet, that being the Diamond's Fit for Life. And their reliance on scientific literature reminds me of Dr. Greger's current work. I'm continuing to tweak my diet and lifestyle to help myself become more healthy as someone with sarcoidosis and probably on lifelong doses of prednisone. And this book will help me in getting healthier. All these things I'm learning about whole food plant-based diets, how to use them, how to implement them, how to tweak what I need to be the healthiest I can be. So I am very appreciative of this book and their work. Nearly 100% of Americans are overweight. 2/3 of Americans are obese. Get the book. Care for your body. Care for your life. Be as healthy as you can be. Thank you.